Welcome. My name is Idris Kamoga, and I'm happy and I'm very glad that we are moving gradual and slowly, but we have to stay on course, right? August is almost being wrapped up, and trust me, tourism remains one of the best businesses that I want to recommend to you to start. Of course, there are a number of things that have, you know, happened in the month, but for the tourism industry, the high season uh, is still on. And remember, we're taking this all to September and part October. You can imagine. So we are still busy, and everyone you're talking to, of course, you're seeing so many safari vehicles on the road. Lodges are fully booked across East Africa. And I'm glad that people are. Today I was meeting a colleague. He told me he's just dropped clients from 14 days, you can imagine, and tonight he's picking um, a, a couple for 16 days. So you can see how busy months are. But good to be busy because we make money, or you make money. And of course, by nature of the business being seasonal, tomorrow, come October, November, part December, the season will come down. And this is when you get to plan, a number of activities. This is when we sow in our gardens. And of course, these are months of harvesting. And I'm glad everyone is running seamlessly. Of course, there are some challenges that come, in field operations, but we will overcome, right? Good. Well, today we want to look at something. We always get these things in a practical way, you know. Either you guys give us what to talk about as consultants, and we feel it's good to furnish some key things to those that are willing to start, run, manage, and grow. Not only to those that are planning to start, but also those that are in existing, tourism businesses. Of course, we are talking about, a number of businesses within the tourism industry, right? So we have something that we want to share with you, and we have priceless lessons uh, for your tourism business. Of course, there are so many things that are priceless in this tourism as a business, but we want to give you, a few things, especially on positioning your business. Last week I had a chance. We were called on um, a luxury lodge um, for, you know, for engagement as a tour operator, probably to, to make a presentation. They are relaunching their product, and this time around, it is coming up as a luxury end product. You know, and this is what we want to look at. Probably you can pick a leaf. How would you position yourself? And I've seen we can give a case study for that accommodation facility. We can give a case study of tour operator in this case, and see, what are those value proposition, things that make you stand tall from any other. But uh, when we were given, when we gave them time to make a presentation, to me, I saw that things were lacking. And this was not the luxury brand property that they were unveiling, right? Because in their presentation, it was a very short presentation. That was nice. You always keep it brief and to the point. However, it lacked a lot of, you know, uh, things that would make complete sense to a high-end client. And I'll briefly highlight, and these are unique selling points. If a lodge is located in Bwindi and you're high end, right? Of course, the video, the marketing manager, the head of sales, they're all present, and they raised, they presented a video, showing us the forest, nice rooms, the surrounding. Um, Particularly, it was all about a video, a nice restaurant, the rooms, the surrounding of the lodge, and all that stuff. And to me, that was that was not case in point. Why would we take clients to that property? I think them inviting tour operators, they missed out a point because there are other nearby properties. You see, so here we're looking at the unique selling points. Whenever you have a chance to engage the right market, right, as an accommodation facility. So, first of all, we didn't see their fact sheet. And when I say fact sheet, this is something that could be presented to operator. You know, what's the size of the room in terms of square meters? You know, distances from their property to park headquarters. These are some of small things that customers or even agents are looking. Is it 10 minutes walkable? You see, all these things can be uh, very key. Um, I felt they could come up with an experience book, showing what can be done. Some can be complementary to the stay. You're a resident, and then things like yoga, meditation, cycling if possible, walking in the vegetable garden, something like that. Of course, the experience book would detail some. For example, village visit could be at a cost, and others can come as complementary activities. If you're staying and you don't have to pay. For flying in guests, Bwindi receives majority of the clients due to distance from Entebbe. They fly. So I thought they could give us a flying package. You're flying, you arrive, well, we have our professional local guides trained. These are vehicles. Probably they could be brand new vehicles because this is a high-end property. And of course, if you're dealing with luxury clients, um, vehicle model is very important, right? So those things were so much in our interest. See, but literally the presentation didn't come out with all those details, and I felt there was nothing done, right? So if you are an accommodation property and you're looking at engaging the right market, you've called on two operators, right? You've called them on board for a presentation or an engagement. These are things that you must put into considerations. Make sure you have a very nice presentation with facts, right? With facts. Could be even offers that are running because you're launching a new product, you're bringing this on board, and you want to attract two operators to promote and sell your facility, including offers like stay for 3 and pay for 2. Could be any honeymoon offers that you're running. There are so many things that, as a sales team for accommodation property, that you could probably concentrate on as unique selling points. Because the big question is why. What makes you so different from property A and property B? You see, it could be accessibility. You see, because people are much interested in how far is your property to the park. You're inside, you're at the edge, you're miles away. This is very key. So before we dig down into, you know, the services and all that. Then secondly, of course, you're hosting people that are doing gorilla trekking. So I expected to have what do you provide for clients going to do gorilla trekking. We never had this. At least someone would mention, for all our residents, we give them walking sticks, we give them ponchos, gaiters, waterproof jackets, a backpack to carry your water. Of course, on return, you have a 15 complimentary massage. Um, it's probably a champagne, you know, on return from your. These are things that luxury clients would, because you cannot say your clients are paying $2,500 a night or more, and literally it comes on just sleeping and, you know, and food. So there is a lot that you must look into when you're looking at. So we felt we could have this session, and these are some of the priceless lessons that we've identified, that you're running, could be a guest house or an inn, a motel, a safari resort, name it. Look out for those points. Tourists are looking at unique selling points, and you must present them and to your market, right? So they are very, very key. And in this case, for a tour operator, right? For a tour operator, of course, I've always told everyone opens business to, and would say we are offering quality services. 100% I agree with you. No one would say, why book with us? And then you see, we guarantee bad services, right? But we always move from the crowd. And how do we move from the crowd? You, a tour operator, listen very well. And this is key: honesty and transparency, right? I'm not saying to only tour operators, but as long as you're working in any business, but in as far as tourism is concerned, honesty and transparency. There's a number of things that clients have been, you know, cheated, you know, ripped off. You see, and that shows dishonesty and non-transparency as you're running your business. So key thing that you must, as a basis or as a foundation to your two operations business, is honesty and transparency. If you can step forward with honesty and transparency, working out itineraries as agreed, execute them as agreed, pay your suppliers in advance, pay your suppliers in time, do all what it takes, 100%. Success will be on your doorsteps. Of course, unique selling. These are things that we want to talk about. Products. What are you selling? Are you following everyone? Of course, the market is saturated already. You must find unique selling products that you're going to present. Of course, sustainability is now the trend. So how can you complement sustainability into your products? We've seen so much of local immersions. Can you bring that on board? Because I've always told you, the trend now is all about impactful travel. Clients traveling, paying lots of money, but how do they change lives? How do they play a part in protecting and conserving the environment? That's all about sustainability. So if you can have itineraries or programs of that nature, probably you're standing unique. You see, other than, people have seen so much of the game, people have seen so much of the hiking and all that, but incorporate those concepts into your products, and probably you're gonna be unique. Flexibility. This is something that we've always talked about. Increasing flexibility. You know, people cancel here, people reschedule there. How do you increase flexibility? You know, talk about minimum financial loss. These are some of the things that you find priceless, right? And guests are looking at that. They are running away from any person that is not flexible, any person that cannot minimize financial loss when they decide to cancel or anything like that. You see, reduce deposits. These are key things. You see, if you're really looking at attracting a bigger market and you want to stay away from the crowd, reduce deposits. You can say, I'm taking $1,000, no matter your cost of a trip be 30,000. Anyway, if it can help you, pay off, by a given time. So that is going to help you probably stand out. Then the other key thing, to tour operators, and I want to repeat it again, create a refund desk. A refund desk doesn't mean when you create it that you're going to be uh, refunding every time, and but let it be easy for you. It should be a norm to you that it is easy to refund to a client, and there must be circumstances, and you know the truth that one, you've actually offered no service. I'll give you an example. If a client booked 2 nights and probably the hotel is giving you a credit note, and a client wrote to you in advance and say, look, we are changing plans and we are going to do 1 night, why not refund? It is very easy. But just because you're not used to that and you've not created a system to allow that, it's gonna be very hard. But look, if you do not look at minimizing financial loss, tomorrow you may not be in business. Make it usual, have a refund desk in your office, have procedures of raising a refund to a client. And once you can do that one time, and of course, receive a complaint. What happened? Review the complaint. Ask time from a client. If it's really a big issue, go to a supplier. Supplier is willing to refund or not refund, but give a credit note or something of that sort. But where possible and you really feel you've made some money, survival in the market is very tricky. All right? So being able to refund, to me, I feel it's one of the priceless lessons that you must grip on. You'll find business life very easy. Refund what doesn't belong to you and take what belongs to your business. Otherwise, I hope you've picked something for today. It's been a very short one. We wanted to share with you some of the key priceless lessons uh, for your tourism businesses. Otherwise, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for these and more learning tutorials. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and on LinkedIn. Go follow us, and yes, otherwise, I can't wait to see you in our next video, probably on Monday or any other week, for business tips, open up in the month. We've got so many sessions, and recently we also introduced a very new session. So please don't keep it away. If you want to start, run, manage, and grow in your tourism businesses, I want to say bye bye and see you next time. Bye bye.